Local 4 News starts now with a forewarned weather alert.
Hail and high winds as severe storms roll through the metro area.
And this picture from Davison showing hail larger than the size of a golf ball.
A live look at conditions in Mount Clemens and downtown Detroit. Lots of rain and reports of very windy conditions all over the area. Kim Adams tracking it all for us right now. Kim, good evening.
Good evening to both of you. Good evening, everyone. We've had a rough afternoon here in Metro Detroit, but things are now quieting down. In fact, our last severe thunderstorm warning has just expired within the last 15 seconds. It expired right at 5 o'clock. But we still have a thunderstorm that's moving through Trenton, Riverview, eventually crossing over and into the river and then over into Canada. So we're winding down tonight, but we've had quite a bit of severe weather with large hail and damaging winds. But we want to focus still on this one little cell here, as we have seen cloud tops as high as 30 to 40,000 feet. So there's definitely some hail and some pretty strong updrafts, even though it's no longer technically severe. Still can't rule out a severe thunderstorm popping up. So the National Weather Service has continued this severe thunderstorm watch until 8 o'clock tonight, but not for all of Metro Detroit anymore. So we were all under this severe thunderstorm watch, but now it does not include Livingston, Oakland, Macomb counties and up into the Thumb. It is only for Washtenaw, Wayne and Monroe, as we continue to see the risk of severe weather deteriorate over the next several hours. We're losing our daytime heating, we're losing the instability, and plus the storms that we've already had has really robbed the atmosphere of what we need to generate severe thunderstorms. Doesn't mean we can't have one or two pop up, which is why still under that watch in Washtenaw, Wayne and Monroe counties. We have a lot of damage, and we're getting a lot of damage reports in, with especially large hail and damaging winds that came through this afternoon. So we're going to check on those as we go throughout the rest of the newscast and show you some of the damage reported. And then I'll be back to talk about the rest of the week and into the weekend in just a few minutes.
In more news tonight, a woman is arrested in connection with a discovery of 2 small children behind Lamphere High School in Madison Heights.
Megan Woods is live with new developments in a story she broke last night. Megan.
Kimberly, we stopped here at the 43rd District Court, and that's where we learned that 20-year-old woman is now facing charges including abandonment and child abuse 2nd degree. Now, police aren't specifying exactly her connection to those babies, but they say the children are doing okay.
And so I started making loud noises, kind of scare them off, and I'm like, that's not cats. I'm thinking, that sounds like a baby.
A heartbreaking discovery for the official driving school instructor and father of 3 who found the 2-year-old and 4-week-old John Bellier.
The one that's screaming, I want to say, kind of saved her brother, sister, whoever, because if I don't hear that noise, I don't go over around here and see them.
The kids were tucked behind a wall near back entrance of the high school. John called police, who are in the building just next door. Police confirmed a letter was found with the children. They were taken to the hospital and are stable. Their parents have been identified and Child Protective Services was notified. Court documents show a 20-year-old woman is facing 2 counts of abandonment and 2 counts of child abuse. Each charge is a 10-year felony. She was given a $50,000 cash bond, but is still in custody and due back in court next week.
Michigan does have the safe delivery law where parents can surrender that newborn baby, but it has to be at a hospital, a fire, or police station, and that child has to be within 3 days old. Now, looking at the statistics from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, it shows from 2001 to May of this year, 325 newborns have been surrendered through that program, and in most cases, they were surrendered at a hospital. There is a 24/7 safe delivery hotline, and that number is up on your screen right now. It's 1-866-733-7733, and we'll also put that on clickondetroit.com. But again, as for that woman, she is due back in court next week, and it's unclear her connection or relationship with these children. Reporting live in Madison Heights, I'm Megan Woods, Local 4.
We know you'll continue to follow this story, though, Megan. We appreciate it.
The fallout from a fake elector scandal is taking a new turn in Shelby Township. The Michigan Bureau of Elections is stripping clerk Stan Grott from his election duties in the township. Grott is one of 16 people charged by Attorney General Dana Nessel for acting as a fake elector in 2020 for former President Donald Trump. Now, he's prohibited from administering elections while the charges are pending. The AG's office says Grott and 15 others allegedly met inside a Michigan Republican headquarters in 2020, signed their names to a certificate stating they were qualified electors for Trump, and transmitted the false documents to Congress and the National Archives. Our Paula Tutman is speaking with Grott about the directive from the Bureau of Elections. You'll hear from him on Local 4 at 6.
The Lansing man accused of kidnapping 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith and stabbing and assaulting her mother appeared before a judge today. Rashad Trice is charged with sexual assault in Ingham County and fleeing from police in Macomb County. Trice could potentially face new charges in connection with the toddler's homicide. Her body was found in Detroit. As Priya Mann explains, it was a quick court appearance today in Lansing.
Appearing via video link during his preliminary exam, Rashad Trice weighed the 21-day timeline following his arraignment earlier this month.
Are you willing to waive the 21-day timeline due to the fact that there are new charges that are pending and the Attorney General is still waiting on some reports?
Trice potentially faces new charges in the homicide of 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith. The 26-year-old is currently charged with kidnapping Winter and sexually assaulting her mother. Police say the child's mother was stabbed and assaulted in Ingham County. Trice is accused of fleeing from police in Macomb County, and there are potential state charges after Winter's body was found in a Detroit alley. The 2-year-old had been strangled with a cell phone cord. In an effort to prevent the victim's family from having to travel to different courtrooms, AG Dana Nessel plans to consolidate the cases into one trial led by her office. Trice's federal charges, which could lead to the death penalty, will remain part of separate proceedings in federal court. I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Priya, thank you. And Trice is due back in court on state charges in September.
The United Auto Workers and Domestic 3 automakers are just a few days into national contract talks, and the newly elected UAW president, Shawn Fain, has changed the entire landscape with his very public assessments of how the car companies are treating line workers. Business editor Rod Maloney tells us tonight this has everyone's attention when it comes to possible strikes.
As the UAW talks get underway in earnest, there is strike concern, as in perhaps a strike against all of the domestic 3 at the same time. Shawn Fain hasn't overtly said that, but he certainly has left the door open for that as a tactic, which is deeply concerning to longtime Detroit area auto analyst John McElroy, who warns that this kind of incendiary rhetoric is unwelcome, unprecedented, and dangerous.
I have no problem with the UAW wanting to get more wages. I'm totally in favor of them doing that.
But McElroy says this kind of anti-domestic 3 stump speech is uncalled for.
They talk about the workers being their family, but at the end of the day, their actions show that they don't give a damn about their family. They're not family. They don't give a crap about our workers.
Not given to similar overstatement, this week McElroy published this piece in Ward's Auto World, saying Shawn Fain is playing with dynamite.
Who wants to buy a car from a company, as he says, screws their employees? Who wants to go work for a company even that he calls the enemy? This is damaging to the industry. This could hurt Detroit.
McElroy says the modern auto industry is hugely competitive and a far cry from the sit-down strike days, pointing out the foreign automakers now own more than 50% of the North American market share and make millions of vehicles a year with non-union labor. Speaking so openly to membership this way may help at the bargaining table, but it could also cause serious damage on the car lot.
If a strike or the way he's attacking the companies hurts them in the marketplace, the foreign automakers are going to take more market share. And guess what? That's going to result in fewer UAW jobs.
McElroy believes if a strike goes on for, say, a couple of weeks, Detroit and its industry can recover. He says if it goes on for a couple of months, that's a whole different ballgame. The contract expires September 14th. In Novi, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
And we've reached out to UAW President Shawn Fain about the McElroy article, and he gave us this statement in response. He says it's not anti-auto to be pro-auto worker. The deal was supposed to be the automakers get a fair profit, the consumers get a fair product, and the auto workers get a fair job. He goes on to say the UAW is not playing with dynamite. The Big Three exploded that deal years ago. Our members are telling the Big Three it's time to make things right.
President Biden hits the road today touting Bidenomics and a new poll, while Republican candidates who want his job are taking to the airwaves to sway voters. All this as investigations loom over the race for the White House. NBC's Alice Barr is on Capitol Hill with a story.
A busy day on the campaign trail as Republican presidential hopefuls scramble to make up ground and make their case.
I think I'm more likely to beat Biden. I think my record in Florida shows that.
A new national Quinnipiac poll shows former President Trump with a commanding lead over his GOP rivals, though the same poll has President Biden winning in a head-to-head matchup.
Hello, Philly.
The president in Philadelphia touting efforts to boost clean energy manufacturing and union jobs.
Our plan's working, Bidenomics.
That despite polls consistently showing voters largely disapprove of the president's handling of the economy. On the Republican side, a federal grand jury weighing whether to indict former President Trump for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, hearing today from an aide who was with the former president on January 6th. Mr. Trump revealed he had until today to tell the grand jury his side of the story. He has no plans to do so, though he fiercely denies wrongdoing.
It's a big and vicious witch hunt.
With a series of investigations hanging over the former president, House Republicans are pressing to expunge his past impeachments.
I support expungement. There's no deal out there.
House Republicans also focused on President Biden's son Hunter's legal troubles, hearing yesterday from two IRS investigators who say they have no political motivations and claim their superiors and federal prosecutors steered the investigation away from more serious charges for Hunter Biden. Democrats pointing out prosecutors, not investigators, decide on charges. A Trump-appointed U.S. attorney made the final call. Hunter Biden is due to make his first appearance in this case in federal court next week. He agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of willfully failing to pay his taxes. President Biden has repeatedly denied any involvement in his son's business dealings. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
Okay, Alice, thank you. The winner of last night's $1 billion Powerball jackpot is a mystery, but we do know one store owner who's pretty happy.
Yeah, we'll have his reaction after learning how much he's getting for selling that million ticket. And here's Hank.
Help me, Hank, tonight in my consumer headlines. Which airline is most likely going to lose your bag or damage your luggage? Well, you may be surprised to see how Delta ranks. We'll see you tonight.